For years, we've trusted these brands, paid good money for them, brewed them for our families, and even children. But after running 16 of the most popular grocery store teas through lab findings, FDA records, and lawsuit outcomes, the truth will terrify you. 11 of them are linked to cancer. One brand's children's tea tested positive for a known carcinogen. Another packed 23 pesticides into a single bag and called it premium. This ends today. Number 11. Lipton. Lipton is the most documented pesticide offender in independent tea testing history, and the brand you have probably been drinking your whole life. In 2012, Greenpeace pulled Lipton samples from Beijing supermarkets and sent them to an accredited lab. 17 different pesticide compounds showed up across 4 products. 3 of those 4 had at least 9 pesticides each. Some were chemicals China had banned for use on tea plants, rated highly toxic by the World Health Organization, and linked to fertility damage and heritable genetic harm. China's own national food watchdog confirmed the problem independently. Unsafe toxin levels were found in a Lipton variety sold in the domestic market. Unilever pulled and destroyed it. Their public statement said the company was fully confident in the safety of its teas. That same year, CBC Marketplace tested Lipton in Canada and found pesticide residues above allowable limits. In December 2024, a California Proposition 65 notice was filed naming Lipton tea, citing BPA, cadmium, and additional controlled substances. The legal exposure has not been resolved. Then there is the bag itself. Lipton uses polypropylene to heat seal its tea bags. Polypropylene is a plastic. A 2019 McGill University study published in Environmental Science and Technology found that a single plastic tea bag steeped at brewing temperature releases approximately 11.6 billion microplastics and 3.1 billion nanoplastics into one cup. Lipton has never addressed this. They have never changed the bag. 300 billion cups. Everyone brewed through a polypropylene-sealed bag in water hot enough to melt plastic particles directly into the drink. Lipton has pesticide findings on 3 continents and microplastics baked into every bag. The next brand didn't just fail a lab test. They sold a known carcinogen to children. Number 10. Celestial Seasonings. Celestial Seasonings put a known carcinogen in a tea made for children. The product was Sleepytime Kids Goodnight Grape Herbal Tea. It tested positive for 0.26 parts per million of propoflor, a substance Prop 65 lists as a known carcinogen with no safe exposure limit at all. There is no OK level of propoflor under Prop 65. 0. Celestial Seasonings sold it to parents for their kids anyway. Lab Eurofins tested 11 Celestial Seasonings products. 10 came back with pesticide residues above U.S. federal limits, or with chemicals that have no set tolerance level. That is a 91% failure rate across their product line. The brand had been marketing all of it as 100% natural. A federal class action lawsuit filed in 2013 went after that claim directly. It said the products had pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, carcinogens, and toxins that harm development. Celestial's legal team never denied that the contaminants were there. Parent company Hain Celestial's defense came down to one point. Their own tests used brewed tea instead of dry leaves, a method that gives very different results. The contaminants were in the product. They just argued fewer made it into your cup. In 2025, a new lawsuit over natural claims was still working through the courts. The same lab evidence from over a decade ago is still at the center of it. Celestial Seasonings spent years defending 100% natural in court, while the lab results sat in the record. Number 9. Yogi Tea. Yogi Tea calls itself a wellness brand. As of the recall date, its website was promoting over 40 certified organic products. On March 12, 2024, Yogi's parent company pulled 54,846 boxes of organic Yogi Echinacea Immune Support Tea from the market. That is 877,536 individual tea bags, pulled from stores nationwide. The FDA enforcement report gives one reason: pesticide residues found above action levels. Action levels are the FDA's line for stepping in on a food product. Crossing them means the agency has decided the risk is not acceptable. Yogi crossed that line on a product labeled organic and sold as immune support. The recall came in as Class 3 by the FDA, meaning it had the potential for bad health outcomes. No press release went out. The public found out through the FDA database, not from the company. Yogi blamed possible pesticide drift from nearby non-organic farms. That may be part of the story. It does not explain how 877,536 bags got to stores before anyone caught the problem. Either the testing missed it, or the product shipped before the results were back. Yogi found a new echinacea supplier and started production again. The deeper issue, a global supply chain that Yogi admits does not always meet organic standards, has not been fixed. Yogi recalled nearly 1 million bags and said nothing publicly. The next brand didn't fail quietly either. They lost $2.36 million in court defending a lie on their box. Number 8. Uncle Lee's Legends of China Green Tea. The name alone is doing a lot of work. Legends of China? It sounds like someone's grandmother hand-selecting leaves off a mountain. It sounds like care, like history, like the kind of brand that would never cut corners, because the name itself is the promise. But in 2014, CBC Marketplace sent this tea, along with other popular grocery store brands, to an accredited lab, the same testing method used by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. What came back wasn't one stray chemical, it was a cocktail, more than 20 different pesticide residues in a single product, including endosulfan, a pesticide so concerning it has faced outright bans and heavy restrictions across multiple countries because of what it does to human health and the environment. Here's where it gets worse. When CBC went to the brand with those findings, the company vice president didn't dispute the results. He said pesticides are simply a fact of life in conventional tea production. Think about what that means. Not an apology, not a commitment to do better. A shrug. The name says Legends of China. The lab results said something different. And the company's own words told you exactly where shoppers rank in that equation. Number 7. Great value. Walmart. Great value black tea runs under $2 for 100 bags. That price reflects one goal: to cut costs at every step. The result is a product with no farm-level origin info, no batch tracking, and no pesticide test data that consumers can access. Private label teas go through commodity brokers. The two things that matter are price and availability, not where it came from or how it was grown. Great Value's standard black tea has no USDA organic mark and no third-party pesticide screening on record. The origin label says, product of multiple countries. That wording protects sourcing options. It tells you nothing useful. That sourcing flexibility exists because locking in suppliers costs money. It also means there is no way for anyone outside the company to check what is in the bag. When Yogi Tea, a brand that paid for organic certification and ran regular audits, still shipped 877,536 bags above FDA action levels, the question becomes obvious. What happens in supply chains with none of that in place? Tea dust and fannings, the same low-grade material in dollar store bags, show up often in budget private label blends. They are the most processed pieces in the chain. They also carry the highest surface area contact with whatever pesticide residues were on the leaves. More processing, more surface, more exposure per gram. Great Value has never pulled a tea product. It has also never put out the test data that would make that mean anything. Great Value can't tell you where its tea comes from. The next brand can. They just wish you wouldn't look too hard at what the lab found. Quick one, tap subscribe and like before we hit the final 5. Okay, let's continue. Number 6. Twinings. Twinings has been selling tea since 1706. That history is the brand's main selling point. It signals craft and quality built over centuries. What it leaves out is that the US version pulls from mass industrial blending networks across Kenya, India, and Sri Lanka, with no farm-level tracking on most products. CBC Marketplace tested Twinings alongside the most popular grocery brands sold in Canada. The lab used Canadian Food Inspection Agency methods. Twinings came back positive for pesticide residues above allowable limits. Two of the chemicals found, endosulfan and monocrotophos, were being phased out across multiple countries at the time of testing. Twinings gave the standard response, a statement of confidence in product safety, no pushback on any specific lab finding, no batch-level data released. Twinings' European products face stricter regulations and better oversight. Their US versions don't have the same standards. The brand charges 30 to 50% more than Lipton for premium positioning, but their safety testing doesn't justify the premium. You're paying extra for packaging and marketing, not proven quality. From the Gardens of the World is a marketing line. It is not a sourcing record. The CBC lab did not test the brand's history. It tested the leaves. The next brand has no history worth mentioning, just a Starbucks deal and an industrial bottling line. Number 5. Tazo. Tazo ready-to-drink bottled teas are not tea. They are factory-made drinks that use tea as a base, the same way a soda brand uses water. The liquid carries sugar, flavor stabilizers, citric acid, and preserving agents needed to last months on a shelf. A standard 13.8-ounce Tazo organic black tea lemonade has more than 30 grams of sugar. That is more than a Snickers bar. The label says organic tea. The nutrition panel says otherwise. Ultra-high-temperature pasteurization is what gives these bottles their shelf life. That process kills the polyphenols and catechins, the compounds that give brewed tea its health value. A 2010 study in the Journal of Analytical Methods in Chemistry found some bottled teas had near zero antioxidant levels compared to tea brewed at home. Consumers buying this for health reasons are often buying a flavored sugar drink. Starbucks picked up Teavana in 2012 and inherited its supply chain problems along with it. Tazo was bought by Starbucks in 1999 for $8.1 million and sold to Unilever in 2017 for $384 million. Unilever is the same company behind Lipton, the brand with pesticide findings across 3 continents. A bottle that says organic tea and packs in 30 grams of sugar is leaning hard on that organic label to cover a lot. Tazo charges premium prices for a product that removes what makes tea worth drinking. The next brand keeps the leaves intact. They just can't tell you where those leaves came from. Number 4. Stash Tea. Stash Tea's website says all its products are 100% safe to consume. It also says the brand makes every effort to procure ingredients that are pesticide-free. Those are not the same as published test data. One is a claim of intent. The other would be proof. Stash got B Corp certified in 2017. That reflects a commitment to operational and environmental standards. What it does not include is consumer-accessible batch-level pesticide testing, the kind of data that would let anyone outside the company check the pesticide-free sourcing claim. That gap is where the biggest failures in this industry live. Yogi had an organic certification. Celestial Seasonings called its products 100% natural. Teavana told buyers its teas were EU compliant and free of pesticides. All 3 claims fell apart under lab conditions. Stash runs on the same self-reported assurance without the outside verification that would back it up. Stash pulls tea, herbs, and spices from global sources. That is a category with known pesticide variability depending on the growing region. Stash points shoppers toward FDA compliance. But meeting legal requirements is not the same as publishing batch-level test results. The company may be testing internally. Shoppers simply cannot see the data. For a brand priced and marketed around wellness, having no public third-party verification is a gap Stash has chosen not to close. The next brand made a mistake so drastic that they went out of business. Number 3. Teavana. Every single Teavana product tested positive for pesticides. Not most of them, every single one. 100% of samples sent to a German lab came back contaminated. They had residues that the EPA flags as possible human carcinogens. Starbucks paid $620 million to acquire this brand in 2012. Their due diligence missed all of it. The most contaminated product was monkey-picked oolong, 23 separate pesticides in a single sample. 62% of Teavana's tested teas contained endosulfan. That chemical is banned in the United States, China, the European Union, and over 144 other countries. It was still in the tea bags. Teavana built its entire retail empire on a promise. Sales staff told customers daily that their teas were pesticide-free and EU compliant. Glaucus Research published lab results in 2012, proving that false. Teavana's response never disputed a single specific finding. A class action lawsuit followed. Starbucks quietly shut down all 379 Teavana retail locations by 2018. The brand still exists as a product line. The stores that sold the contaminated leaves are gone. Tivana's answer was to close 379 stores rather than fix the mess. Number 2. Trader Joe's Private Label Tea. Trader Joe's built one of the most trusted retail brands in American grocery. The pitch is curation, that its store brand products are hand-picked and better than what you'd find elsewhere. The tea section is where that pitch breaks down. Most Trader Joe's tea products list a country of origin: India, Sri Lanka, China. Nothing more specific follows. No farm-level sourcing, no public pesticide test data, no outside certification that would let anyone verify those country-level labels. Private label grocery tea runs through commodity networks. Cost and consistency are what drive those deals, not where the leaves came from or how they were grown. The packaging suggests a carefully chosen product, but country-level sourcing labels still leave major gaps. Asking where the tea came from may only get you the name of a country. This does not prove every Trader Joe's bag is contaminated. What it means is there is no public way to know if any given box is clean. The brand fills that gap with aesthetic signals, the packaging design, the casual copy, the friendly store brand tone, instead of the documentation that would answer the actual question. Trader Joe's does not make its tea. It contracts out to third-party facilities through supplier networks that the company does not name. They control the label, they do not control the fields. Yogi and Celestial Seasonings both made stronger transparency claims, yet they still faced recall reports and federal lawsuits. That makes limited public sourcing information harder to ignore. Trader Joe's branding is a story. Their sourcing record is not. The last entry is where the story stops entirely. No branding, no traceability, just price. Number 1. Dollar Tree Budget Brand Teas. Dollar store teas are the most deceptive products on this list, not because they make false claims, because they make no claims at all. Many budget tea bags use fannings and dust. These are the smaller fragments left after larger leaves are sorted out. They brew quickly and strongly, which helps keep costs low. This is a trade term, not a put-down. Fannings brew fast and strong. They are also the most processed material in the supply chain, pulled from whatever mix of sources offers the lowest cost at the time of purchase. No farm is named on the box. No third-party certification exists. No pesticide testing is on record. No batch tracking exists. The sourcing model blends material from multiple origins with no fixed suppliers. So a box bought in January may have leaves from completely different farms than one bought in June. The legal floor is the same as for any food sold in the United States. FDA compliance is required. Disclosing pesticide test results and naming the source country in detail are not. At the lowest price points, there is less room for expensive certification, fixed supplier contracts, or public third-party testing. Organic certification costs money. Third-party testing costs money. Fixed supplier contracts cost money. None of it is here. Think about what that means next to the rest of this list. The brands with the most testing infrastructure, Yogi, Celestial Seasonings, Teavana, still shipped tainted product with systems meant to stop it. Without published testing or clear sourcing records, shoppers have fewer reasons to feel confident that problems will be caught early. A clean recall record may sound reassuring, but without public testing data, it does not answer every question. 5 brands went through the same checks the others failed: organic certification, third-party testing, supply chain tracking, ingredient transparency, and came out with something to show for it. Here's are the 5 safe tea brands. Number 5. Equal Exchange. Equal Exchange is a worker-owned cooperative. It has sourced fair trade tea since 1986. Every employee gets a vote in how the company runs, including how it buys. Tea comes directly from small farmer groups across more than 40 growing regions. Direct trade gives a level of supply chain visibility that commodity broker networks simply cannot. The brand holds USDA organic, kosher, and fair trade marks across its full tea line. Not buying from large industrial estates is a structural decision, not a marketing line. Equal Exchange is not set up to source that way. That is the kind of built-in limit that means more than a label claim. Farm workers at partner cooperatives help set their own standards. They have a financial stake in keeping them. That kind of accountability goes deeper than a logo on a box. Equal Exchange also puts its sourcing relationships on public record, naming the cooperatives it buys from and where they operate. That is a level of supply chain visibility that Lipton, Bigelow, and Great Value have never offered. Transparency here is not a promise. It is a published list. Equal Exchange stands out by showing where its values begin, with the people growing the tea. Number 4 takes a different approach, starting with certified organic herbs and a cleaner ingredient list. Number 4. Pukka Herbs. Pukka sources certified organic herbs across its entire product range. Every blend names each ingredient. No blend catch-alls, no natural flavor entries that hide what is actually in the bag. In Mama Vashan's 2024 to 2025 testing, Pukka tea bags returned non-detect results for fluorine. It was one of the stronger performers in that limited spot check. The brand keeps direct relationships with growers. Every ingredient can be traced to a named herb from a named source. That kind of ingredient detail is not common in this category. Most mass-market brands list a blend and leave it there. Pukka names what is inside and where it came from. The sourcing program runs on direct relationships with growers, not broker networks. The price reflects what it costs to keep that up. Pukka keeps the ingredient list clear. Number 3 goes further by building testing and supplier inspections directly into the process. Number 3. Numi Organic Tea. Numi was one of the first 30 certified B Corp in 2006. That mark has been renewed every year through outside review. All teas are USDA organic, non-GMO project verified, and carry either Fair Trade or Numi's own Verified Fair labor mark. Every supplier order comes with a certificate of analysis confirming contaminant levels are clear. Suppliers get both scheduled and random inspections. Tea bags are BPI certified compostable, manila hemp with no polypropylene sealing, which cuts out the microplastic risk that comes with nylon and mesh bags. The transparency at Numi is not a marketing line. It is an operational system. Certificates are issued per purchase. Inspection timing is both set and random. The documentation gives shoppers more than a promise printed on the box. Numi also puts out a yearly impact report covering sourcing results, farm ties, and environmental numbers. That public record creates outside pressure to keep standards up, not just hit them on paper once. Numi offers one of the strongest systems on this list, but you do not always need a specialty brand to make a better choice. Number 2 is a simple grocery store swap. Number 2. Choice Organics. Choice Organics makes USDA organic certified teas with short ingredient lists, single origin teas, simple herbal blends, no natural flavor. Entries are adding unknown compounds to otherwise clean products. The brand is aimed at people moving away from mass market teas. The price stays within reach without cutting the certification infrastructure. Short labels and clean sourcing go together here. Named ingredients only, no commodity blend catch-alls. For anyone switching from Lipton, Bigelow, or Great Value, Choice Organics is a straight swap with better sourcing on paper. It is in mainstream grocery stores. The only thing that changes is which box goes into the cart. The price gap between Choice Organics and a conventional grocery brand is typically under $2 per box. That is the cost of moving from a supply chain with no public verification to one with documented organic certification. $2 to know what is in the bag is a fair trade. Choice Organics makes switching easy, but the top brand earns its place by adding another layer, testing incoming herbs before they reach the tea bag. Number 1. Traditional Medicinals. Traditional Medicinals tests every batch of incoming herbs before it touches production. Heavy metals, microbial contamination, not as a spot check, as a firm requirement. No batch gets through without passing. The company sources 99.6% of its herbs under USDA organic certification. Fair trade ties have been in place since 1998. It runs as a California benefit corporation with B Corp status. Bags are plastic-free, unbleached, BPI, certified compostable, and non-GMO verified, right down to the string. The brand uses herbalists trained to pharmacopeia standards to build its blends. What goes in is chosen for medicinal purposes, not cost, not what is easy to source, not what is cheapest that week. The brands that failed this list spent years defending sourcing they could not back up. Traditional Medicinals built the paper trail first. 11 of the most recognized tea brands in America have been running pesticide residues, false origin claims, and completely untrackable sourcing right through your cup. The same failures do not stop at tea. In my next video, I am going after the coffee brands running the exact same playbook.